Hi everyone, glad you could join us tonight. I'm taking my life in my hands sitting in here. I got in here early hoping that they would get used to me being in here and settle down a bit. No, off. So I'm going to try to do this amongst the biting of toes and no. But anyway, we're tired. We spent all day outside today, as they have most of the days this week. They're pretty much finished with being in the pen until they have to, but they're doing great. We have gotten over our separation anxiety with Mama Lily leaving. Lily is doing great at home. She was missing the pups, I guess, at first quite a bit, but Jeannie had her pair of pants on the floor that Lily could lay on so that she could smell the pups. But it was interesting how the smallest ones were the ones who were having the hardest time with total weaning, and as my vet explained to me, that's because they were smaller and they just weren't quite at the developmental stage that they were ready to let go of mom. So that was a learning situation for me. This has been a learning situation. I've never had a litter that carried on, and I mean cry, guys. Be glad they weren't at your house. They howled for about 3 days. But we're getting some warm goat's milk with rice at night, and I think that's substituting for what what they're missing from mom. But they're all doing great. Stool sample for the pups came back negative. They are free from all parasites at this time, so hopefully that will be the same, when you take the dog into the vet when you get them home. As you can see, I'm trying to curtail the chewing and biting on me a little bit by gently holding the snout and telling them no, or redirecting them to another toy. But now would be a good time to maybe, before you pick your puppy up, to remind your children that the puppy is going to nip at them. They're not trying to be mean. That's just puppy, and they're full of energy, loving life, and just having a great time. So either redirect or just gently grab here, and they will, it'll take them a while to outgrow it. They're also still teething, so just distract them when you can, and do the best you can with that. That's a tough one because they have razor sharp teeth. I put my notes up here this time so my kids wouldn't run away with them. I want to talk to you a little bit about the food situation. Okay, they are not going to be totally transitioned to the new Canada food by the time you take your puppy home, especially if you're coming this weekend. I hope that the few of you who are coming at a little later date, maybe we'll be a little further on, but they're having some loose stools and switching the phones, or switching the foods, which is not at all uncommon. But I don't want to push it and take it too quickly that they get diarrhea. So what I am going to ask you to do, and I hate to ask you to have to do this, but if you could buy a small bag of the Purina One large breed food with the chicken chunks in it, and they are at about half and half right now. So if you're going to feed them a cup at a time, 4 times a day. You would give them half a cup of the new food, and I'm still putting the Purina One in the blender and grinding it with the chicken and taking the very large pieces out that are not grinding up. You want to continue to keep them at that pace until you see that the stools are getting harder again. For as long as they continue to be soft, I would not increase the new food until you see the signs. You may see a little bit of mucus in the stool. I don't mean to be gross here, but I just want you to know that that is just a sign that some bacteria in the intestine is forming, and hopefully we don't want it to get to the point where the dog has really bad diarrhea, because they can dehydrate really quickly. So you're going to have to finish the transitioning of the food, and it may take you a month to do so. I would just do it very, very slowly because they are so young. And again, the name of the food is Canada, Canide. It's an all life stage dog food. They have different flavors, but I put them on this one. This has very small kibbles in it, which you do not have to grind. I'm still soaking it in water, but it's an excellent food, one you can continue to stay on if you choose to, or at some point in time you can transition them back to the Purina One. I love the Purina One food. It's just that the young pups can't handle the big chunk of chicken chunks. So take your time with that, and I will give you a bit of each dog food when you come to pick your puppy up. Some of you are coming, I tried to allow time in between each family of an hour so that, we'll go through the puppy packet, which is quite full of information, and the puppy schedule, and just about everything that you need to know. And if it's not in there, you call me when you need to call me, and that's fine. But I want to talk to you a little bit about taking the puppy home. When you take the puppy home, first of all, a lot of you have asked about how to transport the puppy home. If you have a long distance to go, I do recommend that you put some kind of crate in the car if it will fit. It doesn't have to be a big one, it can be a smaller one, especially if you have a longer distance to go. The puppy, my experience has been in the past that after a while, the puppy gets tired of being held, and they're going to squirm and try to crawl everywhere. So if that is the case, I would suggest that you put them in the crate for part of the ride home. Usually the rocking of the car will put them to sleep just like a child. If not, I'll give you a quarter of a tablet of Dramamine that, with my vet's approval, we've done this in the past. It's just enough to make them really tired, and they'll probably sleep the whole way home. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Holding the puppy is okay. I just am forewarning you, if you've got a long ways to go, they sometimes get tired of it and just want to be on their own. No, no, no. Bella. Everybody has a name now. We're getting called by name and having a great time outside playing. When you get your puppy home, the first place you want to take him is to the backyard or wherever you're going to expect him to go potty. And put him down there, and you can even teach the dog to go in one specific area in the yard. Just every time you go out, take them to one particular spot, and they do smell to, I guess, basically to determine that it's okay for me to go potty in this particular place. When you're taking the dog in the house, if you have another pet in the house, or especially another dog in the house that's bigger, older, the best thing to introduce them, I usually introduce all of my pups to the rest of the dogs through a gate or through a fence. Let them get used to each other here. Let them, you never kind of know what's going to happen with the big dog. It can be, just strange and new to bring the new puppy in, but you always want to present the puppy rear end first to the new dog so that they can sniff, okay? And the reason for that being is if for any reason, the older dog would feel threatened about anything, if they would lash out at the puppy, it would be better that he get nipped in the back end versus the face. So just as a precaution when you're introducing them to new pets. But when we introduce our puppies to the pack, they do it through a fence. And the one thing you have to watch is that they don't play too roughly with an older or bigger dog. Because of hips developing, you want to be careful that actually the first 2 years of life, if they're really rough with each other and playing, it just kind of makes me nervous, because there are environmental causes to hip dysplasia. And while I segued there, let me just say that for the first 2 years of life, I would not exercise your puppy really, really hard. It's okay to walk them. Would I jog with them? Probably not for the first 2 years. You want to give those hips every chance they have to develop and to form nicely in those. Are you saying hi, Bella? Huh? In those hip sockets. If walking on concrete is very hard on a dog and joints, just like it is for human people. So if you have a place where you can walk that, takes a little bit of that stress off the puppy, or a trail to follow, just some things to think about while you're exercising the dog. Golden is going to need exercise. They love being outdoors. They love to play ball. Okay, buddy, that's enough. That's my toe. So just be careful for the first couple years, and I think it's well worth the time and effort to hold back on that. If you're a runner and you want to run with the dog, I would definitely wait until after the age of 2 to do that. When you take the puppy in the house, I would confine them to a small area of the house, okay? Either you can do it with these fenced-in things that you can buy at any pet store. Now, Bob added the PVC, which helps to stabilize it, which is my engineering husband. But, I'm going to sneeze. Well, that got everybody's attention, didn't it? Excuse me. But anyway, you may have to confine them if you have a laundry room, and you can go to Toys R Us or Babies R Us and buy a couple baby gates or whatever to keep them separate. I would not bring them home and give them run of the house right off the bat. They need to learn what the parameters and the boundaries, especially, of where you want them to go. Less chance of accidents by confining them to a smaller space. Okay, guys, do I have to move? Okay, calm down. Let's see, a lot of us, when you take the puppy home, I would expect that the puppy's going to regress probably about 2 weeks. And by that I mean the surroundings are all new, and when you stop and think about it, we've separated them from their litter mates. We've taken them out of their familiar surroundings here. Everything is new and different. The scents are different. The voices are different. The sounds are different. I would continue to do the training that I've done here, but I might start a distance away. Like if you're going to run the sweeper, you might start 5 feet, 6 feet behind, and then gradually work your way up to the pen, just so they get familiar with being in a different place, and the noise is still there and okay, but they have to get used to their surroundings and feel secure there first. So they're probably going to cry, being separate from their litter mates. And I told y'all I should have had you all here this last week, over the weekend, when it was just, we had to leave the room, because if we were sitting in the room, they wanted me in the pen to do this, or they wanted mama, they expected mama. Any dog that came into the kitchen, they were sure that was just going to be Lily. But they cried and cried and cried, and I would come over, especially the little guys, pick them up when I needed to, held them for a while, and put them back. And I know you probably all think I'm being really, really mean. That's not my intention at all. Each puppy has its own individual personality. When you take the puppy home, if she or he is crying to the point where they are so upset, yes, pick them up, give them a little reassurance. What I do not want you to do is to pick the puppy up and say, it's okay, it's okay, I've got you. What you want to do is pick the puppy up and tell him, good girl, good boy. I call it coddling them. When you tell them it's okay, all you're doing is reinforcing what I consider to be bad behavior. And we don't want to tell them that, it's okay to do that, to cry, and I'm going to come pick you up, and, I'm going to feel sorry for you. They will learn very quickly, and you have to use your, good judgment, that if you see a pattern developing, that the puppy cries and wants you to come and pick them up, then it's time to be the alpha and get a little tougher with them, and sometimes they just have to cry it out. I don't want the puppy to get so upset that, if they're in a crate, that they're just going crazy. That's not good for them either. But just be sure that you don't reinforce the negative behavior, pick them up, tell them, good girl, good boy, give them that confidence, and they'll stop, and you'll put them down, and they'll probably start again, and about that time I walk out of the room. And they just have to deal with it. So, these are just some things that you can expect when you go home. As far as the training goes, continue with the basic commands. We're not real good about doing the down. We've been working on the off, which means when they jump up on me or jump up on the side, actually take their paws and put them down and tell them off. And I just repeat that and repeat it. It takes a lot of patience, guys, but it is well worth it in the end. And they're young, and their attention spans are very, very short. You may get them to perform. You should always get them to perform when you ask them. The best advice I can give you is that when you give a command, and even I give more than one, which is not the best. They say that in obedience class you should train them to respond to one command. But when you start and ask them something, follow through with what you're doing. A good example of this for me was when we were learning how to jump through the hoop. I would put the puppy in front of the hoop and then come around to the other side and act like a total maniac to try to get him to jump through. Well, some of them would just walk away. And then I would go over to the puppy, bring him back to the hoop, and help them through the hoop. No, we need to finish what we've started. So if you give the dog a command, be sure that you follow through and be consistent. Always be consistent. That's the key. And it's going to take a couple times to learn it, and they're not going to perform all the time. But just some tips about that. Let's see here. I need to, and again, remember with families with small kids, teach them how to deal with the nipping and the puppy, either redirecting them, moving away from them. Screaming is only going to make the puppy's anxiety even higher if we can remain calm. Also, even from the older kids, at some point in time, some of you saw when you came to visit, the puppy's going to need space and time to itself. And it will tell you that when you're playing with him, he walks away and he goes and finds a spot to lay down. It's time for him to have his own space and to be by himself. So don't deny him of that, him or her, or they'll get very, very overwhelmed. And I know everybody's excited, and the anticipation. You've been waiting a long time to bring this bundle of joy home. But they need space as anyone like we need space as well. I just want to take a minute to give credit where credit is due here. I need to thank Bob for all the videos and the website and the hours he has spent, trying to repair or correct the problem with the live feed for you. It takes hours to edit videos and to put them all on the website. That is his portion of Spirit Golden Retrievers. Javon even gets in the pen and plays with the dogs, and that too is an experience, and that having the different ethnic backgrounds introduced to the dogs as well. So it's truly a family effort here at Spirit Goldens, and I can't take credit for the puppy training that I've learned to do. That basically goes to Pet Prodigies and all the articles that they've recommended for pet therapy training. But I will take credit for the time and energy that I've spent with each individual puppy. So please continue to train the dog when you take them home. Everything I've done can be undone very quickly if the consistency is not followed through when you go home. I know all of you have been screening us as breeders for a very long time, and while you've been screening us, we have also been screening you. And it is so important to me to be able to see the excitement and to see the anticipation and to get to know your family before you take these puppies home. People ask me all the time, I don't know how you do it, I don't know how you part with them. Well, it's not easy, I consider them to be part of my family. And, but I do know that every puppy is going to a very warm and loving home. Bob and I have gotten to know most of you very well. And I am very confident that these dogs are all going to very confident, loving homes. So, it's kind of a two-way street with us. I have refused to sell people puppies. So I just appreciate that, you appreciate the effort that we've made. I ask you to, this is truly a passion for me. These animals are a gift of God's creation, and I just ask you to love them and respect them. They deserve all that. They're going to be your lifelong companions for a very long time, I hope. And their whole mission in life will be to make you happy. So love them and take care of them, and there is nothing, more fulfilling than a well-trained golden retriever who loves his master. It has been a joy to get to know you all, and you'll probably see a few tears when you leave over the weekend, and that's okay. That helps ease my separation anxiety, just knowing that they're going to be loved and well taken care of. I think that about covers everything on my list. We want to thank you for putting your trust in Spirit Golden Retrievers. This is obviously something very important to both Bob and I. We love these animals and just think they're gorgeous. And I hope that we've met all your expectations. But please remember that, if you have any questions, please let me know. The other reminder I do have to tell you is that there is a segment in the sales contract. If for any reason the puppy does not work out for your family, that I ask that they be returned solely to me for a refund or whatever. I would prefer that they not be sold to someone else. That is part of the sales agreement. That if they need to be rehomed somewhere, that will be my responsibility. So I don't anticipate that would be a problem for anyone. They have been a great litter, smart, enjoyable, and see, now they're all bored with me, so they're going to lay down and go to sleep. So, which is what I had hoped to accomplish the first 15 minutes that I sat in here. One thing popped into my mind. I was out in the puppy pen cleaning up after them tonight. A lot of you have asked me about going home and using piddle pads. My answer to that now is no, definitely not. They were 7 weeks on Tuesday. By the time you take them home, they're going to be close to 8 weeks, 8.5 weeks. They are shredding the piddle pads, and I found a lot of plastic in the stool that I was picking up. That is potentially dangerous for the puppy, that he's passing what he's eating, but we obviously don't want him to do that. So there are no more piddle pads in the pen here, and will not be until they go home. Just a precaution, as I told you, that they would eat just about anything, and they will eat the plastic from the piddle pads. So we don't want to do anything this young that's going to try to clog their systems up. So every litter is different. Now is the time to discontinue them. So just take them outside every hour and a half to go potty. Take them out when they wake up from a nap and after they eat. That's the first thing that they're going to do. I don't want to repeat myself from a lot of what I said last week as far as the crate training when you get home. So if you have any questions, just drop me an email, and I will be happy to answer all those for you. So it has been my joy to raise this litter. I'll be sad to see it go home. This is the last litter for Lily. She and I have shared some really great times, and it's just tough to kind of see it come to an end right now. But I know that you're going to love and take care of them, and I appreciate that. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope I've helped to answer some questions. Bob is videoing this, and he is just going to put it on the website as is. He's not going to edit it this time, right, honey? He spends too much time doing that. So anyway, thanks for tuning in tonight. A lot of you I'll see this weekend, and the rest of you I'll see either, the middle of next week or the week after. Have a great evening, and hope you get some sleep, even though you're full of excitement and anticipation. So take care, everybody.